Alright team, in this video we are cracking on with a bit of floor prep, installing a window for the first time and getting stuck into some underfloor heating. Hang about and let's get into it. Okay, so the next stage of floor prep was, first of all, to get a sand binding layer down, and that was simply just to, one, protect the damp-proof membrane from any punctures from the Type 1, but also to provide a method of just getting the floor exceptionally flat. It was already super level, but this just ironed out any minor indifferences in the floor. It was then a case of putting down a damp-proof membrane. It's 300 microns for those who are interested, so 0.3 millimeters. So it's a decent thickness. And then on top of that, we laid 75 millimeters of PIR. Working together on this job, we actually cracked this out pretty quickly in the main room. So I used a roll of 25 meters by 4 meters for the damp-proof membrane. When it came to joining the membrane together, we laid a double-sided butyl tape in between, and then a single-sided butyl tape over the top, which creates a nice good seal and prevents any moisture from tracking up.
On the seventh day, he said, "Let there be light." Woohoo! Hi, family!
I know it's reflecting off, right? Unbelievable. Isn't it? Fans up there. It looks like there's a light on, doesn't it? Look how bright that is. Okay, so we're a few days on from the insulation install. I've just got this final bit of the kitchen to do. So let's get on with it. Okay, so I've been cracking on with a little bit of work down here without doing an awful lot of filming. It's been pretty tedious work, little bits here and there, but I thought I'd give you a bit of an update as to what I need to get on with today, and just a bit of a loop around. So we had an exciting delivery yesterday. We had the windows and doors delivered for the basement. So the French doors at the back of the kitchen window, this window in the corner here, which is what I'm going to be working on today, and then the little window at the front. Let me give you a bit of a tour about where we are. So currently we've got the what will be the living room pretty much ready for some underfloor heating. Not quite. I've got a little bit of tidying up to do. Just got to finish this damp-proof membrane off, finish it over the last little bit on the edge here. And the reason for that is because yesterday I cut some of the insulation out and just created like a hardcore slab, effectively, like directly onto the hardcore underneath, so that when the stairs come down, the bottom of the stairs, the stringers of the stairs can basically sit on something solid. I was concerned that with the liquid squeeze going in on top, that
it's not structural. And so with a point loading like that, and particularly if there's one or even two people coming down the stairs at the same time, there's a risk if it's on top of the insulation that it's going to crack. So we're going to do it properly. We've cut the insulation out. We've poured a concrete slab. So that was only done last night. And so that'll need a couple of days to set before I can finish the damp-proof membrane, or the second damp-proof membrane over the top of that, and then smash out some underfloor heating, and we'll get some decent time lapses doing that. That should be quite satisfying to watch, hopefully. So yes, we've got a little window at the front there. That one's actually going to be the last one to be fitted, and that's because I'm going to have the concrete poured through there is the plan. So this grid truck sat up top with the pipe coming down. And if I put a window in there, there's a risk of it getting damaged. And so for the time being, it's open just now because it's a nice day and I've been letting some sunlight in. But it makes sense to try and leave that open and then have the pipe come through without the risk of damaging the window. And then we can put it in later. It's only a small window. It's a non-opener. And so it'll be hopefully a short, quick job once that's all done. What else needs done in here? So I still need to seal the damp-proof membrane to the tanking membrane. Let me come over and show you that. So the damp-proof membrane rather comes up, obviously goes underneath the whole floor, and then that needs sealed properly to the tanking membrane. It has already been done partially, so it happens in two sections. So underneath here, there's some butyl tape. So it has been done once, but then just for belt and braces, I'm going to put another sort of load of tape, butyl tape, 100mm tape around the outside. So I'll do that over the next couple of days. The other room then, what will be the kitchen, I've been doing some underfloor heating in there, so I'll leave that just now. But yes, that's basically the underfloor heating is done in there, and so that is a little bit further ahead. But today's job is going to be try and get this window fitted. So clearly the first job, I need to get this damp-proof membrane, so this tanking membrane, cut a big hole in it. So there's going to be a window there. It was just put in there for ease so I could get a full sheet on there. Later on, I knew I was going to have to cut it to get the window in. So the old window is still in there at the moment, and there's a bit of insulation down the bottom. So we're trying to conserve some of the heat that we're producing for the house. So I'll cut this open, get the old window out, and then we'll have a go at fitting the new window. Never fitted a window before. Watched a bit of YouTube, and we'll give it a whirl. We'll see what happens. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so that's the window out. That's probably the easy bit. So now what I need to do is get the new window frame in place. And I'm actually going to mount it quite a bit further out. So rather than sit inside of this channel, which is you've got on both sides, it's actually going to sit right on it. And that is because later on we're going to fit some external wall insulation. And it means that the gap, once we put the external wall insulation in, which is about 90mm, I want a decent gap to the reveal, or sorry, not too much of a gap to the reveal. So the windows, if you set them where they were before, they'd look like they were an awful long way in. So if you set them a little bit further out, once you add the external wall insulation on the outside, it will still be a normal size. It also means that we'll have a little bit of a ledge on the inside here, which we can probably not do anything with, but it creates a little bit more space, or the feel of space on the inside. So let's try and get this thing in and see how it goes. Okay, so it's the next morning and I didn't get it finished last night, and I didn't actually film much of it either, so my apologies. So where did I get to? So I got the damp-proof membrane in. I just wanted to lay that underneath the frame and the sill purely because it's so close to the ground. outside, and I didn't want any risk of any damp coming in. I then got the sill on the bottom of the window. That's just a simple case of screwing it into place with this style of window. Again, that was a bit of a learning experience for me. Didn't realise that it would be as crude as that, I'll be honest. And then I got the window frame into place and got the first couple of fixings in. So there's a couple in the bottom and a couple on either side. So I just need to get a few more in and around in the top. So I've measured it all. It's totally square and it's totally level as well, which I think is the key bit. And then it'll be a case of getting the glass in, doing a process called toe and healing, which again has been a bit of a new thing for me, but doesn't look like it's going to be too difficult, hopefully. Famous last words. And then we'll get it finished and make sure it opens, etc. after that. Okay, so the window frame is now in. It definitely took a little bit more faffing about and a couple of little mistakes made to get it in, but that's fine. Lessons learned. Be better the next one. So the frame's now in, totally solid, square, opens no problem, even without the glazing going in, which is good news. So now it's time to get the glazing in. Gonna start with the top one, do a bit of healing, toe in healing with these things, and then we'll get the glass in. Okay, so the next job on the list then is to get the underfloor heating laid in the main living room area here. What I've done is I've marked a couple of areas out, so where the bottom of the stairs are going to land on the damp-proof membrane. That's where I've put the concrete slab to take the weight of the stairs. So I need to avoid that area because I don't want underfloor heating running under there. And I've also marked an area out in the corner, which is where the electricity board is going to get moved to, and there'll be a permanent cupboard in that corner. And so I don't want any heat under that either. Other than that, we need to get it laid. I'm going to use 5 different circuits for this. So it's about 40 square meters, the area. And so roughly we'll divide that up into 8. And so we'll have about 5 square, sorry. We'll have about, wait. So I'm going to divide that up into, 5 circuits of about 8 square meters per circuit. They'll be slightly narrower as you expect from at the far end, and as you get closer to the manifold, they'll be ever so slightly wider, which should mean that all the lengths of the circuits will be roughly the same size. What I'll do is I'll get started with the first circuit, and then I'll talk a little bit about what I'm doing, spacings, etc., as we get stuck into it. So I'm just going to talk through this. So this is just coming back round for the second loop. for the first time. And so when I get back to this point, I need to make sure that it's 300 mil. So all I've done is cut a bit of insulation, stick it in between, and then I know I'm at 300 mil, which then means that when I come back, I've got 150 mil pipe, and that'll sit it right in the middle, like so. Like so. Like so. Yeah. Okay, so it's the next morning and all right, nice. So that's the old window out. That's probably the easy bit. Also, you saw me get this bottom. You saw me, all right, so that's the window out. That's probably the easy bit.